Welcome to another Behind the Wall segment. I'm David Hutchins, managing editor of VOA Middle East. Tens of thousands of protesters staged rallies both for and against President Ali Abdullah Saleh this week. Now, Saleh is in Saudi Arabia recovering from an attack on his life and injuries that he sustained last month. No one knows if he's going to return. In fact, earlier this week, Yemen's acting leader, the vice president, did say President Saleh was severely wounded, and he was even uncertain if the president would return. If he were to return, it's still unclear whether it would be a political solution. After all, Saleh has backed out of peace negotiations 3 separate times. For weeks, we here at VOA Middle East has been trying to get a sense on what's happening on the ground in Yemen through social media and other means, and this week we think we have a breakthrough. First of all, we want to give you guys a visual sense of what's going on in the country, both through YouTube and through webcam video. I'm sitting here with Jessica Childs, who's one of our social media reporters and also been networking with activists and journalists throughout Yemen this week. What can you tell us, Jess?
Well, there's been a lot of worry throughout the international community that this might be the first failed revolution of the Arab Spring. However, the activists I spoke with are not ready to accept defeat, and they believe that democracy will prevail over Salah.
Now, you spoke with Hamza al-Shagabi this week. He is based in Yemen. He's a doctor, an activist, and also been pairing with documentary filmmakers in the country to show what's happening with the revolution since it began several months ago. What can you tell us about him?
Well, I found Shagabi after networking with people inside of Yemen for weeks. Luckily, he has his own YouTube channel called Surgical X, where he's produced some compelling clips illustrating the point of view of an activist.
This revolution has been non-violent for more than 3 months now. And Islam is definitely a part of this perception. Martyrs are in the heart of this. And the desire for justice is also a part of this.
We take rain as a good sign here. And this is what we call a good weather. However, I don't think we can...
I also had a chance to talk with Shagabi on webcam video, and I asked him if the youth would accept a brokered peace agreement rather than the ideal democracy that they are envisioning.
The people took off to the streets with specific demands in their mind. A political deal that doesn't satisfy what they went for, what they died for, what they have been chanting for the past 5 months or more.
Reports say that Salah is too injured to return to Yemen at this point or give his proposed speech. How has this affected the youth movement, or has it had any effect at all?
As everyone knows now, with the stretching back and forth, he's doing well, he's not doing well, he's walking, he is not, he had a major surgery, he's going to talk, he's burned, he is not. The whole thing with his medical condition has been a monkey circus. And it's really demeaning to the intelligence of the people. I'm a doctor, and I'm familiar with this kind of injuries and everything that has been going around in the media regarding his health.
And how have the constant pro-Salah counter-protests in Yemen affected the youth movement? And do you believe that these pro-Salah protesters would be complacent if Salah was overthrown?
Pro-Saleh protests have been fully sponsored by him, and of them being paid per day has been more than accumulated and beyond doubt. So those are just people that he's gathering. Some of them are from the Republican Guard. Some of them are from several aspects from his security forces, and some of them are just people who had nothing to do for the day, and they were paid and they went. They're not real, genuine supporting protests, because no one has gained anything from his 33 years of ruling, apart from his corrupted gang.
So what sort of future do you see for Yemen? And what is the next step that the youth movement is going to take to make sure that Salah is done and never comes back to power?
Well, that's the $1 million question. What we are going to do, we are still on the streets. People all over the country have proven that this is a peaceful revolution, and we do not want to be slipped into any inner conflict scenario, and we are not interested in disintegration in the society. So this is, and the youth have proven to become a central gravitation point in the political reality in the country. So as of what is to be done on the ground, I think this is a subject of discussion between the forces inside the country. And unfortunately, we were supposed to be done with him by now, but it apparently had to take longer for so many reasons.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, even though I know that it's very difficult for you to do so. And we really, really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
So that gives you guys a better sense of what's going on in the Yemeni revolution from the point of view of one particular activist. Now, there's other points of data. Social media reporter Hina Samnani has been using our crowd map based on Nushahidi, the platform behind the wall in Yemen, also cross-referencing tweets, looking at YouTube video. Hina, what can you tell us is going on?
Well, a lot of protests have been happening in Yemen, especially in the cities of Sana'a and Taiz. Especially since the UN Human Rights Commissioner was there this week, a lot of people came out to protest. Sounds of gunfire and shelling and bombing were being heard in the capital city as well.
Now, as you know, some of the other challenges we're facing and reporting from places like Yemen or Syria is power outages and internet shutdown. In the case of Yemen, they're only getting 1 or 2 hours of electricity per day, which makes it very difficult to conduct any sort of interviews with them. You also did a report this week talking about the challenges of crowd mapping. Can you go in a little bit about that?
Well, there are definitely a lot of limitations, especially with Yemen, since the country does have a lot of power outages. But we've been adapting to the country's needs and the population and just making our crowd maps better.
Thanks a lot, Hina. That's another Behind the Wall coming from VOA Middle East, this time on Yemen. Keep in mind, we cannot do this without you participating in both our maps, tweeting with the hashtags. You can find out all the information from Hina's report and how we do our Behind the Wall segments at voanews.com/ME. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you soon.